Now, Washington, D.C. is a city of museums and exhibitions.
But in the US Capitol right now, one show is more topical than most because it's using the race for the White House to examine the way presidential politics has evolved. Our North America correspondent Jane Cowan reports.
Well, it happens every 4 years, and as Americans launch into another campaign to elect a president, the museum here in Washington, D.C. has taken the chance to look back a bit. They've dug out some artefacts from the last presidential campaign in 2008, and you have things like the bowling ball and the bowling shoes that Barack Obama, the candidate, used at a campaign stop in Pennsylvania. The shoes are a whopping size 14.5. And over here you have the beer mug and the shot glass that Hillary Clinton drank from at a campaign stop in Indiana. You don't have to be a political junkie to find this stuff interesting. But Kathy Trost is in charge of the exhibition. Kathy, what were you trying to achieve with this, and which is your favourite piece?
Well, the exhibit contains some of the most iconic pieces of campaign history from way back from 1896 to present day. And I think my favorite piece is the actual suit that the network anchor Katie Couric wore during a real newsmaking interview she did with Sarah Palin, who was the vice presidential nominee back in 2008. And the reason that that's so important to see, everybody remembers that interview because it really made news. It really helped shape perceptions for a lot of people of the vice presidential candidate. And we actually have with that the notes that Katie took, both the questions that she was going to ask and notes she took during the interview that are very revealing.
And you can even see there in the notes that Katie Couric has written to herself, "General questions, not gotcha."
Yeah, I think that Sarah Palin was very concerned with what she thought that she was a victim of gotcha journalism, and I think that's a reference to that.
Campaigning in America has changed a lot over the years when you think back to William McKinley's front porch style approach in 1896 and then now to Barack Obama's internet campaigning. Do you think that's been a good or a bad thing for the political process?
I think both. The internet has really revolutionized presidential politics and the news coverage of them. So everything goes viral in seconds. The internet spreads news so much faster than William McKinley could have imagined back on his front porch in Canton, Ohio. But it's kind of a double-edged sword. Candidates really can't escape scrutiny. Every gaffe, every mistake is on YouTube or on the internet in seconds. And so even though news reaches more voters more quickly, I think there's a downside for the candidates. The other thing is that the candidates definitely have figured out that they can use the internet to speak over the heads of voters. They can go around traditional media now in ways that would have never been imagined back in 1896.
The exhibition also includes quite a few props from the late-night comedy talk shows.
Right.
That's almost become a routine stop on the way to the White House for candidates now.
It has. You know, the David Letterman, who's a comedian in America, says the road to the White House runs through me. And he's right. I mean, they have become mandatory stops, these late-night comedy and TV shows, because candidates want to show a lighter side, they want to show that they can be funny, and they want to court new audiences. But, you know, making fun of presidential candidates is nothing new. I mean, that goes all the way back. We have an artifact from 1877, a humor magazine that made fun of Ulysses S. Grant for his drinking habits. So this is an old tradition that's really got legs, I think, in the 2008 campaign, when Saturday Night Live, the Jon Stewart Show, the Colbert Show really reached new heights as a cultural force with their parodies of the candidates.
It's fun to look back at the history because I was born, 18 years ago, so I haven't seen some of these things, so it's fun to see like what I've missed and fun to reflect on what we've all gone through.
This definitely captures everything about DC that I wanted to come visit for, all of the history, and the Colbert Report playing is my favorite part because he's hilarious.
I love political satire. A cartoon tells you a lot. I mean, there's a cartoon over there that is very subtle, but it just shows Romney being the winner, but in the primaries, but it has the primary voter looking out there to see if there's somebody else. So, I mean, but it's very subtle, but it tells you a lot.
And that was Jane Cowan with that report. She's officially become a politics junkie. She was wheeling out stats from 1896 there, so I think she's fair to say she's gearing up for this next election.
Well and truly immersed, that's for sure.